Hello, I'm Larry Wilson. Please join me for another 5-minute Bible study. A number of people are wondering if blood moons are harbingers of apocalyptic prophecy, especially when they happen to fall on Jewish feast days. Do blood moons indicate another epic event is about to occur for Israel? Do blood moons indicate the end of the world is upon us? This past year, several prophetic expositors, including Hal Lindsey, Mark Biltz, Irving Baxter, John Hagee, and others, have brought considerable attention to recurring cycles of blood moons, and they have suggested that they could be a celestial sign from God, that something huge, something earth-shattering will soon happen. So let's begin this study by asking, what is a blood moon? A blood moon is a title for a total lunar eclipse. When Earth is properly positioned between the sun and the moon, pure sunlight cannot light up the moon because Earth is in the way. Therefore, the moon becomes dark, but light from the sun travels through Earth's atmosphere, and when this contaminated light reaches the moon, it makes the moon appear brownish or reddish in color. Thus, the title blood moon simply pertains to the color of the moon during a total lunar eclipse. Because of orbital geometry, lunar eclipses occur frequently, and most of them are partial eclipses. That is, pure sunlight illumines a portion of the moon, and Earth's shadow darkens the rest of the moon's surface. When 4 total eclipses occur in a row, they are called a tetrad. In ages past, there have been periods of time as long as 300 years that did not have a tetrad. But starting in 2001, there will be a total of 17 tetrads during the next 300 years. So we see that tetrads come and go depending on orbital geometry. There was a total lunar eclipse, a blood moon, on April 15 and October 8 last year. And the next 2 blood moons will occur in 2015 on April 4 and September 28. You're probably wondering, okay, so where is all the excitement? Well, when a tetrad begins, and the first lunar eclipse falls on Passover, and the last lunar eclipse falls on the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles, some people think this is a celestial sign from God indicating that something of great importance is about to happen to Israel. Here are 3 historical events involving Israel that are associated with blood moons, according to these expositors I just mentioned. In 1492, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain gave the Jews 4 months to convert to Catholicism or leave the country. About 50,000 Jews converted, and more than 200,000 fled. Okay, the 4 blood moons occurred during the following 2 years, in 1493 and 1494, and these eclipses began at Passover and ended with the Feast of Tabernacles. The second example they used to associate something important in Israel's history with a tetrad is this. Israel became a nation on May 14, 1948. A tetrad began the following year. There was a blood moon at Passover in 1949 and again at the Feast of Tabernacles in 1950. And finally, they used this illustration. Israel overthrew Palestinian strongholds and took control of the city of Jerusalem during a 6-day war which occurred June 5 through 10 in 1967. Earlier that year, a blood moon took place at Passover and again in 1968 at the Feast of Tabernacles. It is important to note that in 2 of these examples, events involving the Jews occurred the year before the tetrad began. For the sake of discussion, we have to ask, are these valid examples of prophetic harbingers? Or are these events involving Israel and the tetrads a coincidence? Please consider 4 reasons why I believe blood moons have no prophetic value. Number 1. Since the time of Christ, there have been 62 tetrads, and 8 of them have coincided with Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles because of orbital geometry. Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles are observed at full moons, so it should not be surprising that a blood moon will occur now and then at Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles, because total lunar eclipses always occur at full moons. Number 2, the Bible does not teach or indicate that blood moons are harbingers of specific events. In fact, it is most revealing to notice that those who are boldly advocating the prophetic importance of the blood moons cannot tell us what is supposed to happen or when it is supposed to happen. There is only one reason for this silence. The Bible has nothing to say about blood moons. 0. Number 3. Yes, Revelation 6, verses 12 and 13, indicates that when Jesus returns to earth and appears in clouds of glory, there will be a huge earthquake. The sun will turn dark, the moon will turn blood red, and the stars will fall. But when all of these phenomena are considered as a package of events surrounding the second coming, whether or not there is a total lunar eclipse is immaterial. These manifestations in the earth and in the sky will testify to the power of our Creator. Therefore, the words of Joel in Joel 2 and Peter in Acts 2 should not be understood as a description of a routine blood moon. Finally, let's suppose you are sitting at a stoplight and you see 4 white cars go by. Would you call that a prophetic harbinger? No. And neither is watching 4 predictable lunar eclipses go by a prophetic harbinger. There have been 62 tetrads since Jesus was on earth. Astronomically, this is no different than full moons occurring every 30 days. So it is predictable that Jewish feasts and blood moons will coincide. Here's the bottom line. Superstition is a belief system that believes that one event causes another event to take place when there is no natural process linking the 2 events. Given the fact that the Bible is silent on blood moons, given the fact that tetrads are routine and predictable, and given the fact that 62 tetrads have come and gone since Jesus walked on earth, and given the fact that the Feast of Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles are observed at full moons, it doesn't make any sense to say that blood moons are harbingers of things to come. Superstition is one thing, Bible prophecy is something else. Mixing these 2 topics together might be sensational, but in the end, the result will be meaningless. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Please bookmark this video, share it with your friends, and look for more of our videos on YouTube.